All right, welcome back to the Dolphins Country podcast. And today we will be reacting to Monday Night Football, Week 4, Dolphins versus the Jets. The Dolphins are finally in the win column. That's obviously awesome to hear. But before we dive in, be sure to like and subscribe. We are at Dolphins Country Pod on both YouTube and Spotify, so you can watch and listen whichever way you prefer. But yeah, let's get into it. The Dolphins played the Jets tonight on Monday Night Football. This is my instant reaction to the game. Obviously, we won the game. There's the larger injury concern, obviously, to Tyreek Hill, which kind of puts a somber, dampers the mood a little bit because, obviously you love winning in the NFL. It's very hard, as we know. We are now 1-3 on the season. But yeah, we are in the win column. Tyreek's injured. So let's talk about it. The offense was clicking in this game early on. I mean, you saw it early for Miami on that opening drive. We go down and get a field goal, some penalties, whatever. But overall, we're moving the ball well. Tua is converting third downs. I like that we were able to. I'll get into it more, but I like that we were starting off with some running, and then mixing in some play action, kind of to keep the defense balanced. I think there was a lot more variety in the offense today for the Dolphins. Tua started off hot in this game on third and fourth down, which are the money downs in the NFL, as we know. These are third and fourth down. This is when guys get paid. It's what separates great players, good players from great players. And Tua on third and fourth down started off this game 6 of 8, 70 yards, converted 5 times on third and fourth down. And had a touchdown, obviously, to Waller on that second drive to put us up 10-0. So Tua started off really good on those big money downs. That's obviously what you want to hear. That's obviously what you want to see. And I can segue right into Darren Waller because holy cow, hello Darren Waller. I mean, if you had told me that Darren Waller's first game back out of retirement, he would score 2 touchdowns, I would obviously tell you you're crazy. That's not on my bingo card. The whole 9 yards. That would not have been something that I would have predicted. But here we are. two red zone trips, 2 red zone targets, 2 red zone catches, and 2 red zone touchdowns for Darren Waller in his Dolphin debut, which is more than anyone could have seen coming. It's more than anyone could have asked for. McDaniel jokingly was like, "Yeah, that's exactly what I expected to happen. That's exactly what I expected to have happen." Obviously, no one expected that. So that's really, you'll take that any day of the week, especially for a Dolphins offense that generally doesn't use their tight ends. I mean, obviously last year, Jonnu Smith had an unbelievable season. But that was kind of like a caveat. That was kind of like the outlier. We obviously know the 2023 season, Miami had no touchdowns from their tight end position the entire year. We kind of expected this year to be similar because we were going into the year without Jonnu Smith. There was no real plan at tight end. It was Julian Hill, it was Tanner Connor, and it was a guy that was literally retired in Darren Waller. So we kind of expected, okay, there's not going to be much production from the tight end position this year. And it certainly looked that way the first 3 weeks. We weren't even throwing the tight ends. And then the very first third down of the game, who does Tua find over the middle of the field? It's Darren Waller, who runs his first route for the team. And it was literally the first pass play of the game. We went run, pass. 2-yard run with Achane, 3-yard run with Achane, 3rd and 5. Who does Tua look for in the very first pass of the game? Darren Waller, who is fresh out of retirement, fresh out of rapping, by the way. Had a nice little rap career going there for a second. So we lose one rapper in Teron Armstead, and then we gain a rapper in Darren Waller. So those guys have awesome careers as musicians after this life is over, after their football lives are over. So yeah, good on Darren Waller to step out there and, if again, I did not expect him to come out there and make that big of an impact in his first game on Monday Night Football. So that was obviously awesome to see. Waddle only had 3 catches, but he had 48 yards. So those were some explosive catches there. It wasn't just like, nothing catches. I mean, we saw some explosive plays with him. Obviously, Tua hit Waddle down the sideline on that 3rd and 11, working on Michael Carter. So Waddle had, I believe, 2 third down conversions in this game. I'll have to go back and watch, but I believe on 3rd down, Tua found him twice, both on 3rd and long. So that's good to have that connection there as well. We had 123 rushing yards today, which is obviously a nice number to see. 99 of those were Devon Achane. He ripped off some big runs. I mean, my goodness, there was a few runs that I was like, how did he even get back to the line of scrimmage, let alone break that for 12? This guy's just an animal. I mean, we can talk about Devon Achane every single week. It seems like he's doing the exact same thing every single week, kind of just squeezing every ounce of talent he has in this offense, and we need it. I mean, we really do need it because we held on for that game. I was like, is 27 going to be enough to win this game? I feel like 27 points should be enough, but you never know with this defense. And Achane was, again, scored another touchdown tonight on an unbelievable effort play by himself. I mean, that touchdown was once again all him. It was blocked up really well as also. I mean, give credit to those guys, but Achane made like 5 Jets miss in space. I mean, it's just, the guy's very elusive. The contribution that he has to this offense is second to none. I mean, he is, without him, we would be in some trouble. But nonetheless, those guys were all really good tonight. I loved how much we kind of spammed it too. I mean, we spammed this hard play action to a under center bootleg game tonight. We rarely ever do it anymore. That's the first thing I noticed when we kept doing it. I was like, we need to do this more. And I've been pleading it because we saw it. I don't know if people remember early on in Tua's career in Miami, kind of just to get him going. We would always kind of have these rollout bootleg to his strong throwing hand side, getting him on the run, getting him on the move, getting him comfortable. Because in those early Tua days, our O-line was terrible. It still is terrible, but nonetheless, you get what I'm saying. The 2020, 2021 year, the O-line was so bad. We kind of had Tua just roll out, move the pocket a little bit, get him to a strong throwing side, and you saw him make plays that way and early in his career. You know, when he gets on the move, he can make throws on the run. I mean, he's not like a statue over there. This was obviously pre-concussions and all that other stuff, but today we did it a lot. We were under center more than we usually are. Thank God. I love going under center. And Orlovsky made a great point of it today. This is why teams go under center, because it makes the linebackers, especially when you're doing play action, it makes the linebackers just move. And Tua's great at doing this. Tua's awesome at moving linebackers with his eyes anyways, but it's just a different feel when you're under center and you're getting the linebackers to flow one way and then you're throwing the other way. It's really good eye candy stuff that we don't have to even use our fancy nonsense with all the pre-snap stuff. Like we just lined up under center and ran hard play action. Like that's just like old school stuff. Like that generally, like that works. That still works in the NFL today. I know that Tua's superpower is, shotgun, quick game, spread everybody out. We're going to throw screens. We're going to go quick game. Obviously he's great at that too. He's great at quick. I know Tua's awesome at quick game stuff. I understand that, but I do want to see more variety in the offense. It was just a lot of quick game. Like that's all the Dolphins offense was. And now I think tonight you finally saw some under center, pop a run, pop a play action off that run. You get the defense moving a little bit, get the pocket moving a little bit, get Tua on the run, finding Waddle on the run. You get Tyreek also on the run, and they get those long crossers, and then Tua's flowing to that side. I mean, you saw them scheme guys open. I thought McDaniel had an awesome game plan tonight. Schemed guys open again. The Jets also just couldn't guard Tyreek. I mean, they were giving him 10-yard separation, letting Tyreek run freely to whatever spot he was going to get to. Guys are finally coming back to the ball whenever Tua is scrambling nowadays. That play was in structure, but like a few other plays where Tua's out of structure and he's trying to make plays with his legs. Receivers are finally coming back to the ball, which is nice to see because early on they weren't this season. When Tua had to scramble, no one was helping him out. I mean, they were just kind of like guys walking around saying, okay, whatever, kind of ditching the play. But Tua has been making some plays out of structure today. To get to that, another 3rd and 8 that Tua takes off, and my heart nearly dropped. I thought that Tua was going to be in some serious trouble there. I thought he was in danger whenever he slid there, and we got 2 Jets colliding. I was very, very worried for Tua's health, obviously, as every Dolphins fan should have been. Thank God he's okay. That's the first thing Dan Orlovsky said, and I echoed his statements. I was like, my heart was stopped for a second there. I was like, okay, is Tua going to be okay with this? Because he looked like he got hit pretty hard. Now, on the replay, it showed that the guy didn't actually hit him helmet to helmet, but he did still hit him in the helmet. He hit him with his head. He hit him with his arms and his fists. So he still got him good, but it's still obviously a penalty. You can't hit the quarterback in the head as he's sliding. That's a stupid penalty by the Jets, but we will take it. But thankfully, he did not actually hit him helmet to helmet. He just hit him in his helmet. Nonetheless, Tua still got rung there, and I was like, okay, please be okay, because we cannot afford. I cannot have this happen again on primetime, where it's a standalone game and I see Tua get injured, especially with the head. So thankfully, Tua was able to pop right back up, but he was smiling. He was kind of acting a little goofy about it. He was like, "First down, we got the penalty. I got the flag out." So Tua was in really good spirits today. It was nice to see him locked in, playing well, and having fun with all the criticism that he's been getting the last few weeks and all the media people calling him out, and then him having these answers in the pressers as to like not condescending answers, but kind of just like let me do my job kind of thing. It's like kind of annoyed. I think he's been annoyed at the podium this year, but it was good to see him like actually having fun. He always has fun against the Jets. The Jets and Patriots are 2 teams he's owned. He did lose to New England a few weeks ago to end that dominance of reign he's had on them, but he still plays well against those teams every time. So it was good to see Tua play well again tonight. That was obviously awesome to see. The defense finally got some key takeaways. That was the story of the game because the run defense is still tragic. The Jets ran for over 7 yards a carry. Maybe more actually. I think Breece Hall ran for 7 yards a carry. I think Fields ran for like 12 yards a carry. They ran for a lot of yards. The Jets ran all over us again, but the Dolphins got the key takeaways, which is by and large why we won the game. I mean, that first series for the Jets probably results in 7, if not for that Jack Jones punch out. I mean, we were not stopping them at all. We couldn't even get him to 3rd down. So Jack Jones punches the ball out. So finally a Miami DB makes a play this season. That was nice to see. Minka recovers it. That was awesome. Also, another second takeaway on the very following Jets possessions. We actually had 2 straight possessions where the defense just forced a takeaway. We're still not forcing punts. but we'll get that. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But we forced 2 takeaways in the first half on back-to-back Jets drives before that last drive they had before the half. They got into field goal range, whatever. Tyrell Dodson punched it out on a 4th down blitz called by Anthony Weaver, which got home. Tyrell Dodson punched the ball out. Jalen Phillips was there to scoop it up. It would have been our ball anyways. They would have turned it over on downs. But it's nice to see that we got a fumble out of it, got a takeaway, add to that number that we did not have that plagued us the first 3 weeks, 0 takeaways. So then we had 2 in the first half. And then coming out of the half, we forced another fumble on the kickoff return, which sets up the short field, which unfortunately Tyreek gets injured on that a couple plays later. But it results in 7 points for the Dolphins. So we were able to score off takeaways, off 2 of those takeaways we scored off of. The other fumble we did, the 4th down one where Fields fumbled and Phillips picked it up. We did not. We actually ended up going 3 and out on that one. But the other 2 fumbles that the Jets had, we cashed into 7 points, which is huge. 14 points off turnovers. That wins you games most weeks, and it did for us tonight. That last touchdown by the Jets, I don't really care about. Although I was getting some PTSD from that Tennessee Titans game a few years ago. I was like, are we actually going to blow this again? But the game never really felt like in doubt once we went up 14 points with 3 minutes to go. The only thing was it just reminded me of Tennessee because it's the exact same score on the exact same field with the exact same announcers calling the game on Monday Night Football. And again, even that last drive that the Jets scored on, it was a lot of, again, similar to Vic Fangio, prevent defense the entire time to let him get down there. And then Weaver did a weird thing where he sent an all-out blitz after going prevent the entire drive. He went all-out blitz and then left Garrett Wilson one-on-one. Great coverage by Rasul Douglas, but Wilson made an unbelievable catch. And speaking of Rasul Douglas, he played really well tonight. Rasul Douglas was awesome, made a lot of plays. Thankfully, I'm finally seeing corners make plays for the Dolphins this year after harping all offseason how we don't even have any corners. We just signed Rasul Douglas a week before the season started. So, he was sitting on the streets for anyone to take. So we kind of lucked into that one. Rasul Douglas was really good today. Zach Sealer finally stepped up. My goodness, we've been calling his name. He got paid and it just kind of vanished off the face of the earth until tonight. Tonight, he had a couple TFLs, back-to-back plays actually had TFLs to kind of end that Jets drive on 2nd and 3rd down. I believe it was just kind of parked in the backfield for the Jets tonight. So Zach Sealer made some big plays in that second half to kind of, get us some stops. It's been very rare the Dolphins defense actually stopping people this year. That being said, the Jets passing offense is not a very vaunted unit. I mean, they don't really scare anybody. Todd Bowles kind of put the feelers out on how to stop that team. And the Dolphins took advantage. They were able to, for the most part, stifle the Jets, at least take the ball away from the Jets. They weren't able to stop the Jets on the ground. I mean, I kind of jokingly said throughout the game, I said, the Jets are not like out of this game. All they have to do is run the ball the entire time. It might take them a minute, but they're going to probably score every time if they just run the ball. Because this Dolphins run defense has not really been fixed. Although, like I said, Zach Sealer did make a few plays. Jordan Brooks had 18 tackles. So he was all over the field. But for the most part, I mean, the Dolphins are still getting gashed on the run. They're still getting gashed on the ground. I mean, it's not pretty. So that's going to have to be fixed, or this team isn't going anywhere, obviously. But ultimately, we were the better team tonight. I was never really at any point worried that we would lose the game after we cashed in that fumble on the first drive. So the Jets obviously go all the way down the field. They fumbled the 1 yard line, Braylon Allen going in. We recover it, and then we go 96 yards, capping it off on that 4th and goal touchdown pass from Tua to Waller. Once we went up 10-0, I was like, okay, this probably is going to be our night. Because that's a 14-point swing. When Braylon Allen fumbles going into the goal line and scoring, that's 7 points off the board from the Jets, and then we cash that in to 7 ourselves. So we go 96 yards the other way and go up 10-0. So that could have been a 7-3 deficit for us, down 4. Instead, we're actually up 10. So 14-point swing. I feel like at that point, it would have taken us beating ourselves to lose that game, which we didn't do. The Jets actually said, we'll beat ourselves. The Jets had over 100 yards in penalties. So the Jets kind of made it easier for us to win this game. The score really shouldn't have been that close. Nonetheless, whatever. It was never really in doubt. I mean, I don't think that we were the better team tonight. The Jets were painfully worse. So yeah, that's but it's not like we're like the Buffalo Bills or anything. We can't just we beat the Jets by 6 points. It felt like it was more than that because we were definitely the better team. But it's not like we're just a shoo-in to beat all these bad teams. We played a bad team tonight. Make no mistake. It looked like 2 0-3 teams against you. There was a lot of bad penalties, a lot of bad football. For the most part, more solid football on our part, but there was some bad football in there for sure. Definitely a lot of bad football for the Jets. And now we face the Panthers next week, who are another bad football team. That does not mean it's a shoo-in win for us because we are also not very good. We faced the Patriots this year, who aren't very good either. We faced the Colts, who I didn't think were very good, but smoked us. And I still don't think the Colts are that good. But nonetheless, we faced teams who we have more talent than, and we've lost those games. So I think we're better than the Panthers, but we could also just lose that game because we're not very good either. So. And now we don't have Tyreek Hill. So I'll get into that now. Actually, real quick, I'll hit on the red zone point because I said coming into the year, I'm really interested to see what McDaniel does in the red zone, short yardage, when stuff gets condensed. What's he going to do? I thought he called another great game in the red zone tonight. Getting Waller and Achane involved in the red zone. And obviously, we always use Achane. We always utilize him in the red zone. We kind of utilize him in everything, but we never really target tight ends in the red zone. So it's like two red zone trips tonight, and Darren Waller scored 2 touchdowns. It's like that's really big for this offense. I mean, that's not nothing. Now with Tyreek Hill out, it's going to be very tough for this offense to sustain their level of play. Let's just call it what it is, because we haven't seen anything from Nick Westbrook-Akine so far. We threw him a screen today. It's not really his game. Malik Washington's got to step up big time, obviously. The other guy, like it's Taj Washington, D. Eskridge, like those guys have to be big, obviously now. Everyone else is going to step up big time because Tyreek Hill is a huge part of this offense. I mean, he just is. He can get us down in the red zone, and obviously he can still score down there either. But like he's the explosive play guy. Once we get in the red zone, I was worried that it would just be a lot of Devon Achane in the screen game, but we were able to run one in with him today, which is really big. I think that's a big thing. I mean, we were able to just kind of not any like gadget stuff. It was a nice little flick pitch by Tua, but that was all Devon Achane. That was just good blocking by the run game, which by the way the O-line was good today. They kept Tua clean for the most part. Outside of that, well, they kept him clean. Tua took off and nearly risked getting his head taken off, but the O-line kept him clean in the pocket most of the night. He had to scramble a little bit out of there and get out of pressure, but they kept him clean. Now the O-line still can't block anybody really because they do hold a lot. So that's another caveat. Like they didn't give up any sacks tonight, but they held a lot again. Borum held and negated an awesome 20-yard catch from Tua to Tyreek. That would have been an awesome 39 conversion, but Larry Borum held. He didn't even need to hold. I mean, that made it a 3rd and 19. On an awesome 15-yard Devon Achane run, Patrick Paul held. Didn't need to hold at all. That guy was never going to tackle Devon Achane in the open field. He was never going to get over there quick enough. Achane was already passed. He was already at second level, and Patrick Paul held for really no reason. So there's still guys who are committing penalties. I thought Cole Strange looked pretty good tonight. His first start as a Dolphin, he looked pretty good. So, but I'm not going to knock on the O-line because the O-line played good tonight. They were actually controlling the line of scrimmage for the most part in this game. So that's good to see. That's obviously why the offense was clicking tonight. They were able to kind of control the Jets up front. Now let's get to the Tyreek Hill injury before we sign off here. We all know what it was. The second we saw it, we knew this was gruesome. We knew it was severe. We knew his leg was bending in the wrong way. They're ruling it a dislocated knee, which it's not like a good thing by any means. I think people are like, oh, that's good. He didn't break it. That could be possibly worse I mean, he's obviously, first of all, it's a season-ending injury no matter what it was. Let's just call a spade here. Whether it was a broken bone or whether it was a dislocated knee, we don't know what this is really. Like there could be torn ligaments in here, which means he could be out longer. So we really don't know. We'll probably know tomorrow, but regardless, it's a season-ending injury, which sucks for Tyreek. Like honestly, sometimes you almost wish it was. It sucks either way, but like sometimes the gruesome injuries aren't as bad as far as like rehab wise. Like we saw Aiden Hutchinson last year; it was a clean break. I mean, he broke his leg, but it was a clean break. Immediately got there in surgery, and it was a perfect rehab to the point where he actually could have possibly come back for the Super Bowl if the Lions had made it that far. And that was a broken leg. With the dislocated knee, there could be some torn ligaments in the knee, which would be really bad, obviously. You don't want to have had he just broken his leg, which is obviously still a terrible, terrible situation and season ending nonetheless. It's all of us either way, a season ending. But you almost would rather, like, if it's just a clean break and it's just a broken bone, it's easier for rehab, from what I've been told. I don't know, obviously, but with possible ligament damage, that would make it a little bit more complicated. Because you really don't know like what all got damaged, what all the ligament damage is. You really don't know. So obviously Tyreek was frustrated. I'm frustrated. Everyone should be frustrated. He got a very nice ovation as he was leaving as he was getting carted off the field. I think I wasn't at the game, so I don't know for sure. But from what it looked like Tyreek was very. I mean, obviously he was in good spirits. Smiling through the pain, which is obviously better than I would have handled it, or better than most people would have handled it. So I got to give credit to him for that. It looked like he was very appreciative of the crowd reaction. I don't have any sources that would tell me this because I wasn't there. I don't know exactly what he was saying. It looked like to me he mouthed, "I appreciate y'all," when the crowd was giving him this reaction. Because I think most people kind of assumed that the fan base had just turned on Tyreek over the offseason because of how he had been acting, what he had been saying. Obviously, how last year ended very sour. But it looked to me like he was appreciative, obviously frustrated that he just got injured and the season's over. very frustrated, but it looked like he was appreciative of the reaction he was getting from the fans. Like he was clapping in frustration, obviously, and then he looked like he was signaling to the crowd. I don't know what, but I think it was that he was appreciative of the reaction they were giving him and what he's meant to the city. I think. I don't know for sure, but that's what it looked like to me. Because you see these people already that are trolling, like, oh, he's happy. He's happy he got injured. Like, of course not. Why in the world would you ever be happy that you're injured? You're losing out on, possible incentives or whatever. You're not out there with the team. So obviously, and McDaniel said it after the game. He was like, all Tyreek cared about was whether we won the game or not. Teron Armstead obviously said he FaceTimed him after the game, and Tyreek was like, "Oh, I just want to know if we won the game. I just want to know if the guys got the win because it was a big win. It's a big game tonight. You had to win this game." So it's good to see that Tyreek was in good spirits and he was just caring about the team. That's all he cared about was the team. So it's very frustrating. That was also a fantastic football by Tua to actually throw that ball on 3rd and 9 and complete it. And it was an awesome catch by Tyreek on the sideline. It's super unfortunate what happened. Him getting injured because he was playing absolutely phenomenal football the last few weeks. I mean, he played really well in Buffalo last week. And then he was dominating this game in the first half. I mean, he absolutely was not. I think he had 5 for 57 in the first half, and that wasn't including the 20-yard catch that got called back from the Larry Borum hold. So he really should have had like 6 catches for like 80. And then obviously he had that one on 3rd and 9 as he was getting injured. He caught the ball still. So Tyreek was just phenomenal in this game tonight, which is really why it's even more sour that he's out for the season, most likely. And you just gotta wait the injury and see what the actual extent of the damage is. If this is indeed his last snap as a Dolphin, because you have to talk about that. We have to unfortunately bring that up because I'm pretty sure it's season ending. I mean, it is season ending. When it looks as gruesome it is, it most often is not good. It's not going to be good for like a quick return. Oh, he'll be back soon. No, he will not. That being said, if this is his last snap of the season, whether it's his last time as a Dolphin, I don't know. But if it is, he's one of the most exciting. He's one of the greatest receivers I've ever personally laid my eyes on. I mean, he is that special of a talent. I never figured that the Dolphins would get a player of his caliber, of his skill level, of his talent. I mean, he is kind of like the mini Antonio Brown of this era, of this decade at least, of this generation. Like, he is that special. His speed is undeniable. He's really improved in every area as a route runner, as an actual threat, as a receiver, as a catcher of the football. He's really good. No doubt about it. He's great. He's elite at his craft. So this offense is going to miss him, no doubt about it. It's going to be a tough challenge to play without him. We have not seen Tua really play without him. He's played without Tyreek sparingly, like 1 or 2 games without him, and Tua still operated he's been fine. But the last time we saw Tua without Tyreek, like really, was Tua's first 2 years in the league with Brian Flores, and that offense. He had Waddle for the first year of Waddle's career. So it's going to have to be a lot of that 2021 season where we started 1-7 and then rattled off 8 of 9 down the stretch there, and Tua was playing fine football with Waddle and kind of makeshift receivers around him. But I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see McDaniel. This is McDaniel's first time coaching the Dolphins without Tyreek, so he's going to have to scheme guys open. Everyone's have to step up. Really, it's going to be very challenging for sure with this offense. But nonetheless, not to dampen the mood, the Dolphins got to win tonight, which is obviously hard in this league. It's good that they got the win. They got the 1-3, so now you can kind of keep hope alive if you're into that, having a solid season type of thing. But they got Carolina next, and then they got the Chargers, and then they got the Browns. So we'll see if they can build on this win. I'm not going to get fooled into thinking this is like a season turnaround. I told you last week, if they lose to the Bills close, generally that means they're going to rattle off some wins against bad teams. They did the exact same thing last year when they lost to Buffalo, close in Buffalo, dropped to 2-6, and then they won 3 in a row. Against, by and large, bad teams. So they can certainly rattle off some wins here and make it interesting, but ultimately it's going to be tough not watching the Dolphins without Tyreek. I mean, it's just, he's one of the more exciting parts about this team. The last few years of watching the Dolphins, I've kind of been spoiled as to like, this team is very fun to watch, frustrating still at times, no doubt, but it's one of the more enjoyable few years I've watched Dolphins football, as opposed to like the previous 10 years where they were just very mediocre, very boring. Since Tyreek's got here, they've been one of the most exciting teams in football. That is without a doubt, no questions asked. So we'll see if they can still be exciting now, because they still have some really nice pieces on this offense. Devon Achane's incredible. Jalen Waddle's incredible. Malik Washington's really nice. And obviously, hey, Darren Waller, maybe out of retirement, is found a new leaf. I don't know. But and I still like Tua a lot too. And the O-line has, I guess, some pieces, whatever. And Ollie Gordon's, by the way, I'm going to stamp it right now. Ollie Gordon's the guy. I'm stamping that right now. He's a dude. I know he only averaged 2 yards a carry tonight, but the effort runs that he had tonight with minimal blocking, like, he's good. I genuinely think he's a good player. Obviously, I saw what he did at Buffalo last week. So, yeah, overall, more positives tonight than usual. I mean, we won the game, obviously, so there's more positives. But that's all for this episode. I'm going to be dropping another one throughout the week because I have to. I mean, we have to react to more of this Tyreek injury because we don't know the extent of it yet. And then we'll preview the Carolina game. I'm going to be at the Carolina game on Sunday, I believe. So we'll see how that game's going to go. Short week for the Dolphins against a really putrid Panthers defense. But I'm going to be signing off for now. Thank you guys for tuning in, and go Dolphins.